Welcome to IT Live, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. I'm Joe Cook. That's Justin Wells. That's Ian Boyd. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you've not done so yet, you got to go subscribe at InsideTexas.com. Join using that first link in our description, or you can use the QR code here at the top left of the screen. Look forward to seeing everybody over there. We got some great recruiting scoop. We got some Texas football analysis from Ian. We'll have some stuff on Jonah Williams and the baseball team. Opening day is tomorrow, so lots of fun over on the 40 acres. And of course, got some hoops games this weekend, some important stuff for Texas as the Longhorns are moving closer to March. So all things Longhorns, come check it out over at Inside Texas. Can't wait to see everybody over there. Chris Bennett, thank you, man. Josh Manning, appreciate it. Got to
he was on your mind, Eric. Eric. He was on your mind, Joe. So,
and was that Vanderbeek's character in Varsity Blues? It's been a long time since I've seen Varsity Blues.
Jonathan Moxley, and they called him Mox.
Right.
And then most people won't remember him from Dawson's Creek, but I never watched that. But of course, I watched a Canadian Jonathan Moxley try to have a cowboy, a Western accent. It was fun.
To me, I forgot who was talking about this the other day. It may have been either Andy Staples and Ari Wasserman or somebody else about like what's the quintessential college football movie. For me, it's The Program, but a lot of people say it's Varsity Blues.
Well, you mean college or high school?
College. Am I missing?
Varsity Blues is high school.
And what am I missing?
Remember the Titans would have been high school.
Varsity Blues is like loosely.
You're thinking of the pro. Right? Actually, Varsity Blues.
But high school Bryles. High school.
Right.
Yeah, that's why they wouldn't show the movie in Stephenville, Texas.
Right.
It's essentially a ripoff of what they did in the 90s.
Oh man, I forget which one I'm talking about. Maybe, but The Program to me is like I remember watching that and thinking like nothing's changed. Like everything is still the same as what it was when they wanted a seat at the table, stuff like that. So
Waterboy. That's a good college movie. That was a good one, Josh. I forgot about Waterboy.
Ian, didn't you have a football movie list a couple of years ago, or you and LC had like a football movie breakdown last year?
Yeah, with RT, we did a draft of football movies. I believe I can't remember what went number one. I think Remember the Titans went number one. I think I was the number one pick.
That's the best soundtrack.
Yeah.
Give me Rudy for soundtrack.
I have a good Rudy story I'll save to the very end. But
I want to hear this because I the more we get away from the Rudy story, the more people are like, no, that doesn't float.
I don't care.
I know, Ian.
I know it's total nonsense. I know didn't happen.
Listen,
I have a good Rudy.
The kid from the Goonies is not playing defensive end in D1.
Or Samwise Gamgee.
I'm sorry.
That was a big thing.
Vince Vaughn could actually play quarterback, though.
He got the Samwise Gamgee part because of Rudy.
I mean, it worked out pretty well for him.
Peter Jackson has said as much. I'm actually introducing the oldest son to the Lord of the Rings trilogy tonight.
Nice.
Well timed.
I've never seen any of those.
The third one may be a top 5 movie ever.
It's all right, Justin. You just stick to your Clifford, the big red dog.
And Predator, which is also a good movie.
Yes.
Let's get to football. Texas.
No, this is so much more fun, and the people are actually interacting more because of this.
I know.
We got combine stuff.
We got NFL combine stuff
to talk about.
And this is always fun to talk about. This gives us a little bit of football content here in the end of February. Texas had 7 players invited to the NFL Combine yesterday. You see them on the screen. That is in alphabetical order: DJ Campbell, Jack Endries, Jalen Gilbo, Anthony Hill Jr., Malik Muhammad, Trey Moore, and Michael Taff. I think all those guys are very deserving. I'm really happy for Jalen Gilbo, who I thought may have been on the fringe of receiving an invite. Still a 4-year starter who was able to get his opportunity, I think, at one of the games. And then obviously he's going to be in Indianapolis. before we get to the snub, because there was an obvious snub, Ian, seeing 7 after we saw double digits the past couple of years, kind of a reflection of this year's team, but also a reflection of the good players who were part of it.
Yeah, I mean, this was 2 things, right? This was 1, the team being a lot younger and more homegrown last year than the previous 2 years, which is probably why it wasn't as good. And then also just the lack of development expected from some particular guys. Like, we would have thought that Trevor Gooseby would be at the combine preseason last year, right?
Yeah.
Not me.
No, not Justin.
Well, by his level of play, if he declared. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Or some of maybe one of the DBs that is like Jelani McDonald, maybe. Or,
there you go. That's one that we kind of thought could.
Or,
especially after a good start.
Who even is on this list? That
Do you have the full list? I can find it for you and put it in the private.
I can see. I can read it.
But I mean, like the full list, like of everybody.
I feel like there's another defensive.
Well, Williams David brought it up. Cole Brevard would have been a good pick, and I think just because what he was asked to do in this defense didn't pile up the counting stats, but
Cole might get drafted.
Yeah, and I think
that's a guy that gets picked in the 5th, the 6th, the 7th round, comes into a camp and gets a shot. Like, that's the exact kind of guy.
You can't teach however much he weighs and his athleticism that's paired with it. But I thought that's a good one. Campbell makes sense. 4-year starter, 43 games, Power 4, SEC, Big 12. Andrews has the athleticism. Like I said, I'm glad for Gilbo. Hill, Muhammad, and Taff, I think, are no-brainers. Trey Moore, I think I'm curious about where his spot in the NFL is going to be, because he was kind of a tweener in college, and Texas made the most of him being a tweener, but I wonder what that looks like in the NFL, Justin.
Man, your guess is going to be as good as mine. He's one of those guys. I hate it if he falls into the category of really good college player that just couldn't find a spot in the NFL. And I think Trey will. I think he'll latch onto a team and he'll be there for a minute. And if he makes an impact on special teams or something like that, I don't know where his spot is in the league. Does he have a spot in the league? That remains to be seen. I think Trey is a tremendous player. I think he did exactly what Texas needed him to do when they pulled him out of the portal from UTSA. He's not an inside linebacker. He's not an outside linebacker. I'm just not really sure. I know he's a throwback of sorts, but I hope to be proven wrong, because of this list, I probably would have had Burke invited, and I probably wouldn't have invited Trey Moore.
I'm with you there. For Ethan Burke, who for all intents and purposes was a 4-year starter, or at least saw 4-year starter snaps in the Big 12.
Burke will get picked over some of these guys.
Burke is going to have a lot of people at the Texas Pro Day wearing NFL jerseys or NFL logos, wondering why he wasn't in Indianapolis.
Yep.
And it's because you can't teach 6'7". I'm not sure if he ever played at the weight that was right for him at Texas, or if he ever wore the weight that was right for him. And that's kind of picking a nit just because, or picking at a fine detail, because he did really great things for the Longhorns. But I wonder if we see a version of Ethan Burke whenever whenever Pro Day comes around, which is usually about a month from now, that looks a lot different than maybe what we would have been seeing over the past couple of years, Ian. As you get a quick swig of water to collect.
He's going to be in shape, and he's going to be healthy.
Which one?
Ethan Burke.
Burke.
Now, this one is the most curious to me, because I don't understand. I feel like they would want an up close look at a 6'6" defensive end, right?
Right.
So what's our best explanation for
who
why
actually made plays in actual real big games?
Who actually made plays in games and in multiple of alignments? What's our best explanation for why the snub?
There are a lot of defensive ends that were invited to the combine.
There you go.
And a lot, and they throw them just in defensive linemen. So there's not any separation between edges and defensive tackles. Maybe they throw some guys to like outside linebacker because I'm trying to look like I see Owen Heineke's at linebacker, and but when you look at maybe the defensive lineman, like R. Mason Thomas is in the defensive lineman group. Tyreek Sapp is in the defensive lineman group. Where's one more for rule of threes? Cassius Howe, defensive lineman group. The Texas Tech trio.
I have a question.
Those are all defensive linemen instead of edges. So maybe Burke got messed up there.
Do we know who Ethan Burke's agent is?
I do not know.
No, I don't know yet.
Has one.
I was about to say I'm not certain he has one.
I wonder if that's part of it.
Yes, he's got a well-known one, or at least it's in his Instagram bio. It's The Family, which with Famile, and he went to the Shrine Bowl too, I believe. So like, I don't know. I wonder. That's an odd snub, and there are snubs every year. But at the same time, like for him to put himself in front of, scouts for 4 straight years, and then to go, I believe, to the Shrine Bowl. Actually, I don't know if he actually made it to the Shrine Bowl because
I'm trying to remember if he. I don't know if he. I think he was supposed to go to the Shrine Bowl and something happened.
Right.
Maybe it was intentional because is he going to? Is that? Are you referring to the Senior Bowl? Is that just the Senior Bowl?
No, Shrine Bowl. There are 2 different ones.
Similar.
He's going to the Senior Bowl, right?
Say again.
He is going to the Senior Bowl, right?
No, he went. He didn't go to the Shrine Bowl, and the Shrine Bowl, like basically the last 4 days of the Shrine Bowl overlap with the first 2 days of the Senior Bowl. They all happened at the end of January.
So he didn't do either.
No, you do one or the other.
Right.
Correct.
Well,
He didn't end up doing either.
I could see him wanting to be like, watch me practice, and you'll get a better sense of what I can do than me running a 40. But I would is he injured?
I don't think so.
He's had ailments over the last couple of years that he's played through, but I don't think it's something that would hold him out of one of those bowl games. Personally.
I've heard him say in an interview that he his like first 10 of his 40 are like super competitive with other guys. Like his overall 40 is not great, but his first 10 split is actually really good.
I bet
that's probably the lacrosse part of him.
I was about to say, I bet at like 6'6", 260 or whatever optimized weight he's at, he's going to run a shuttle time that's going to be really impressive for someone his size.
But not if he doesn't run it. So I don't know. It's very curious.
Yeah,
he'll run it in Austin. He'll actually it'll time better in Austin than it would Indianapolis.
That's true. DJ Campbell. I mean, I feel like that one makes a lot of sense. 4-year starter. He may not have lived up to the 5-star production, but also if you get a 4-year starter essentially out of a 5-star, that's kind of what you're looking for from those types of players. And then he's going to end up getting drafted. I feel like that's a hit if you give it the binary hit or miss, Justin. I feel like DJ Campbell's a hit.
Yes and no. I think DJ did what he needed to do at Texas for the most part. He brought some scrappiness and tenacity to that room his freshman year. I just don't know if he has an NFL mindset. I don't know if 2 years. I remember a year and a half ago coming on, I think sophomore year was his best season. And he knew if he had like a really good junior year, I think Christian Jones had just gone to the league and he had understood, look, he'd seen the pattern. Like if I work really hard, I could actually leave early and go. And that was part of it. And then he never got back to that sophomore tape. It was pretty even from junior and senior standpoint. Nothing too high, nothing too low. He doesn't have the size that people covet on the offensive line in the NFL. He just doesn't. He's got the strength. He's got the mental fortitude, to tenacity and stuff like that, the disposition. But, man, I'm not certain he gets drafted. Like, I don't know. He'll have a good reach, but the height is going to be dinged on him. His weight's going to be dinged on him. And, again, I don't think he played a senior season like he was getting ready for the NFL this year.
There's like I feel like Vegas would set the over-under at like 3.5 if how many of these guys get drafted.
So yeah, and Chris, I don't think all 7 are getting drafted.
No,
But
all 7 will not get picked.
Looking at it right now,
and Burke is one that will get drafted that's not on the list.
DJ Okay, DJ Campbell, yes or no? We'll do this rapid fire.
Yeah. Late round. Day 3.
Peer pressure, sure.
Jack Andrews, yes or no?
Yes.
There's a lot of Jack Andrews.
There's people want pass catching tight ends, and he worked hard to get to it. He'll test well. He'll interview well. He might be a 6th or 7th round. I'm thinking of Jeff Swain. He got picked later. I can't remember if he got picked later, if he was just an undrafted free agent, but that's kind of the vibe I get.
Swain was an elite blocker.
Swain was an elite man. Like, he was mean.
One of the
Jack
other
Andrews is not elite at anything.
I'm looking at
a bunch of stuff.
Like, there's a clear top group of tight ends that includes, no particular order, but number 1, Kenyon Sadiq, and then Eli Stowers, Oscar Delp, Max Clare, Tanner Kozoil, and I don't know who else, but like he's
other tight ends.
Michael Trigg
will determine where injuries goes.
Right. All I'm saying, there are quite a few Jack Andrews type players in this
that I could see him going the undrafted route then.
Anthony Hill, of course.
Yes.
He'll be early second rounder.
Will Malik Muhammad or Anthony Hill go first among Longhorns?
That's a great question, because I think both of those go in the 2nd round. So it's going to be one or the other. That's a good question. It'll be a need, and it'll be the 10 picks before them. What type of players are coming off the board? What positions?
I think it'll depend on what Muhammad runs.
I don't think he's going to run super, super fast.
If he runs like 4.5, 4.6, I think Hill might.
4.5. I can see 4.5.
I think Hill might beat him. If he gets under that metric, then corners. People start making runs on corners, and then they
Trey Moore, I'm going to say no.
No,
I think Trey Moore will be drafted. I actually think because Trey Moore has flex ability. That's
like dash ability.
I just invented a pre-existing word.
That was awesome.
He can play inside, and I think he can get a lot better at that with time. I think some NFL team will take him and be like, this is an inside linebacker that can rush the passer. And we just need to
get stuck in the wash.
We just need to let him develop more here. So I think Trey Moore might be a better pro than he was college player, just because he was forced into edge at college because it's just more.
Because that's the position he played.
Just the position he played.
That's what UTSA needed him at.
He was a great pass rusher.
He was good at. He wasn't a traditional linebacker. If he was, they would
have been if he'd been.
They would have played him at that.
Not at UTSA they needed him to play edge.
I know, I said at Texas.
Yeah, but he did at Texas some, and sometimes he was good.
And they figured it out really quick. It wasn't the best place to put him.
Well, it's his first year at that spot. I think that somebody will take him because they'll see him as a
versatile project.
A versatile project. And if he's not, I would still bet that he sticks in the league longer than most of these other guys. Barring health.
Michael Taft drafted.
4th, 5th, 6th rounder.
Yeah. Probably into the draft, I would think.
I think
I thought that too, man. There's actually a buzz with him. They love how smart he is. They think that he is literally a quarterback back there. Don't be shocked if the LA Rams pick him in the 4th or 5th round, Ian.
Interesting.
The one other thing is, if I can find it, Michael Taft had a good Senior Bowl.
Oh yeah, he tested well and he played well.
Just the fact that he measured in, I think, above 190 was big. Because that was always one of the things that we were curious about. He seems kind of slight, and kind of, but he was checked in with a higher weight than Malik Muhammad at the Senior Bowl.
If Taft were to have left early last year, he would have been picked higher in this last draft. That stock kind of went down a little bit when he came through his senior year, but he didn't stop getting better. I just think the crowd kind of caught up to him. I still think he's probably a 4th or 5th rounder, probably maybe even 6th, like Ian said.
What's he going to run, you think?
4.6.
4.6.
If he can run 4.6, then absolutely.
They've got scouts saying that this is the smartest defensive player in a lot of camps, in a lot of places. Like, that's going to help him out a lot.
That doesn't surprise me.
The thing is, like, there's some really
I know Ian did not just say that.
There's some really good safeties in this draft. Like, I'm going alphabetical. Bud Clark, Caleb Downs, AJ Halsey. I mean, let's see.
Downs is also super smart.
Downs could be one. Downs is
going in the first 10 picks.
Yeah, remember when people were talking about Bijan being like maybe the number 1 overall prospect, but nobody would pick him 1-1 because he's a running back.
Yeah,
I bet Downs is like that. Like,
that's a good comp.
He is like that good of a player.
He's going to come in and be a starter like day one.
As is what's his name? Terrell. Not Terrell, Styles. No, the other Ohio State linebacker. Who am I thinking of?
Reese.
Yeah. Like,
Reese or Styles, one of those two is going to Dallas in one of their first picks.
Leave it to Jerry to draft Harold Perkins, though.
I'm a little iffy on Reese.
Really?
Because they mostly used him as like a pure edge outside linebacker.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's a true edge. He was playing like in a 5-down front, and they were just overwhelming people. And I just don't know if that's just not the same as playing in a normal defensive end alignment where the other team can actually load up against you.
It's interesting.
I'm curious how he tests, and it's not like I've studied him a ton, but just from his usage, I'm like, I don't know that I've seen him do something that translates cleanly to I'm going to be elite at an actual NFL position rather than like a situational pass rusher.
This feels like a good draft where Anthony Hill, who I think a lot of people have probably as a day 2 guy right now.
Yeah.
I think he's in a good position to move up. Just because Pete Kwiatkowski made him play real linebacker in college. And yeah, he had his ups and downs with it. But the fact that he has more of that experience in addition to his specialty usage, like I saw a lot of draft people be like, oh, well, he should have just been on the edge the whole time. It's like, not with that athleticism.
Yeah.
No. And listen, the thing that's going to be good for Anthony in this combine is he's going to be healthy.
Yeah.
Like, he's played through elements for the last 2 years. Like, he is going to be healthy. And in turn, I think he's going to test really well because he's healthy. He'll interview off the charts. He'll be the nicest kid that they meet at that place. He's a guy that could sneak in a late first round. But I think just because of his position, I think, and honestly, a traditional inside linebacker is still really hard to find in the NFL. And I wonder how much stock the NFL is going to put into that in April. But I think he's stuck in the second round. Him and Manny, I think, are going to kind of race for that pick. But he also, if Manny runs up under a 4.5, he'll sneak in late in the first. If Anthony Hill rips off some crazy times, he'll sneak in late first.
I think Anthony Hill is almost a carbon copy of Kenneth Murray of Oklahoma.
That was the worst thing you have said in 2026.
And
that was almost hateful, Ian, and you're not like that.
Murray went late in the
Murray
first.
is the worst player in the NFL today. That was a very bad comp.
But he's not the worst.
He is the worst player in the NFL today. If you want me to bring up his stuff from the Dallas Cowboys the last 3 weeks, I will show you a person that has no business in the National Football League.
He's like a multi-year vet now, though. He may be
And
he had a couple of 100 tackles. He was similar in that he was like hell on wheels. He was just covering space and smacking people in college. He was amazing. Not necessarily a terrific traditional linebacker, taking on blocks and reading stuff and making. Hill has some of the same strengths and weaknesses, I think.
It's a long NFL career for being the worst player in the NFL. To be honest with you.
Hey, I'll do you a favor, Joe. I'm going to trade him to the Texans, and I'm going to let you see it. Because there's a reason the Cowboys had the worst statistical defense in the history of the NFL last year was starting linebacker Kenneth Murray.
He wouldn't start it. The Texans.
No, he lost his job. He started the season, and it got so bad they traded for a third string linebacker in Cincinnati named Logan Wilson. That's how bad Murray was.
I was about to say, I'll keep my Aziz Al-Shire and Henry Toto.
No. I'm sending him to Houston or I'm sending him to Pittsburgh because you two need to learn a lesson on badness.
Before we keep going, learn a lesson on goodness. That's with Academy.
Fast one.
Same-day delivery powered by DoorDash.
One note, and then I'll get to one quick question that we have. The only Longhorn who transferred out, who got invited to the combine, Brennan Thompson, who I'm excited to watch his 40.
He might run the fastest.
I bet he hit him, or I'm trying to think who else was a Blazer in this past year. Let me look at some of the wide receivers. But Thompson will run a very fast 40. That'll be fun to watch. But that's it. That was the only former Longhorn who transferred out, who is going to be there in Indianapolis. And find that a little interesting.
He'll get drafted off that 40 time alone.
He has some tape where he tracks the ball in the air really well and adjusts to it in Mississippi State. So whatever the league's current appetite is for Xavier Worthy types, I don't know if Xavier Worthy has done very much for the Xavier Worthy type.
Right.
He hasn't. Of course, he had a teammate separate his shoulder in a blocking drill. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think his competition may be, if I'm looking at this right, Dylan Bell from Georgia.
He's going to fly. That's the Houston Kincaid kid.
Yeah. Zach Brandt from Georgia.
Bell's got a better build for the NFL.
Yes.
But Thompson is much more skilled. Much, much more.
And then
is it that much?
I'm trying to see.
Yeah, Bell does not track and catch like Thompson.
Gotcha. Branch will run fast, Joe.
Branch will run fast, and then Concepcion
is not an NFL player.
Concepcion will do. I don't know if we're going to have the burners at the combine this year that we had the last couple of years.
Kevin Coleman.
That's what I'm saying. Like, these are all guys that might play in the league a few years.
I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where the first round wide receivers, just because it's like we have to get a first round wide receiver, Jacoby Lane,
Mekhi Lemon,
Carnell Tate.
Lemon will be the first receiver picked, right?
Carnell Tate and Jordan Tyson. Like, that's kind of all I'm seeing.
Jordan Tyson, if he was healthy, would be the first receiver picked, in my opinion. He just has never been healthy.
Carnell Tate, definitely very good. And who's that other one you just mentioned that was?
I said Jordan Tyson, and then the USC duo, Lemon and Lane.
Yeah. Kind of a down year for receivers, huh?
It is.
A little bit.
Like, hey, and look at what 27's receivers are going to look like. 27 is ridiculous.
Where's Surratt on that?
I was about to say
he's on there. He's on there, Chaz.
Yeah, like that's someone who, and Chris Braziel, like that's another good player. Like, I don't know if there's a lot of there's a lot of round 2 or 3 guys who are going to end up being round 1 guys, just because of the way the draft looks this year, if that makes sense.
No, I'm with Joe 100%. I think it's one of those types where they'll have their own boards. Franchises will have their own boards, and we'll see a lot of movement, which makes it interesting, makes it fun.
It's a good tackle draft too, I think. Caden Proctor, somebody's going to take a risk on him. Trey Zune, good player. Mauioga from Miami.
Zune's not getting drafted early, though. You know that.
Spencer Fano, Monroe Freeling. I think he was.
Spencer Fano will definitely go pretty early.
Like,
that's probably your first tackle pick, right? Him or Proctor?
Probably Fano.
I think it's Fano.
There's just not a lot of high-end tackles.
It's not like going to be next year with Gooseby and Seaton and like some no-brainers.
Right. There's a lot of really good interior guys, though.
College football is going to be really good in 2026. There's a lot. Usually we see a lot of these guys that could, quote unquote, be on the NCAA, EA game, cover. These guys are all coming back. Yeah. 2026 I have a 2008 vibe here. Remember 2008, it felt like all these good players were coming back. Tim
Especially in
Tebow,
the
Colt
Big
McCoy,
12.
Sam Bradford, the Big 12. You know what I mean? Like I get a vibe like 2026 is going to have some fantastic football.
The Big 12 was when everyone in the league had adopted the spread and had their own Texas high school passer
Yeah.
that had like seasoned into an upperclassman year at like every single school at the same time. Todd Reesing, Chase Daniel, Colt McCoy, Sam Bradford was
it Hodges? Was it Hodges or Cumbie at Tech?
I think so.
Or Simons?
It was one
Simons was earlier.
No, 2008 was Graham Harrell.
Graham Harrell. What am I thinking? Good
I'm
Lord.
about to pull it up. I'm about to pull up the.
This is an entire chapter in my book, which can be found on Amazon.
Yes.
It's called Flyover Football.
Flyover Football. It's on my coffee table. You must buy it. You must read it. It's a must get.
The chapter on that 2008 season is called Ragnarok.
So here,
I like that.
It's just shootout wars every weekend.
Here is the list of quarterbacks who threw for at least
RG3,
1,500 yards in the 2008 season. Graham Harrell, Sam Bradford, Chase Daniel, Todd Reesing, Colt McCoy, Joe Gans, which is a name I haven't heard in a while.
Nebraska.
Zach Robinson, Josh Freeman, Austin Arnaud, Gerard Johnson, RG3, and Cody Hawkins.
Gerard Johnson is an OC in the league, right?
Yeah. And then Stephen McGee, I guess that was Stephen McGee's last year. He was either hurt or they passed the torch to Gerard.
They passed it to Gerard because if you remember, McGee was a warrior, but he was hurt practically every year because he was a warrior. And Stephen McGee played in the NFL for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
He was a quarterback backup for the Cowboys.
Everybody kind of has like this romantic view of the 2007 season, and with good reason, but there's good football in 2008. Yeah.
2007. Who thinks romantically about 2007?
Kind of not about Texas, but about college football. 2-loss LSU wins the national championship. South Florida.
I was like, Boston, 2007 was hell.
Boston College is like ranked number 2. Rutgers is like ranked.
Kansas State was sticking our faces in the rain puddles and returning.
Wasn't it Josh Freeman just stuffing us in a locker?
I think it was Jordy Nelson.
Prince. Prince couldn't beat Kansas, but he could beat Texas.
That was a terrible season.
The terrible hire.
Was that that was the Chris Jesse year? I was at Holiday Bowl.
And then of course, that was the 2007. You say 2007. I think Jamal Charles almost went for $2,000 that year.
Yeah, Jamal Charles got loose.
And you think if he comes back in 2008, my God. But no, he didn't play school.
Hey, he's an NFL Hall of Famer, though.
He's the leading. I think he's still the NFL all-time leader in yards per carry.
He was like the last big star for the Chiefs before the Mahomes era, probably. Like he defined Chiefs football for a while in between.
Larry
Mahomes.
Johnson, Jamal Charles,
Derek Johnson.
Yeah, Derek Johnson.
And then Alex
is their all-time tackler, if I remember correctly.
Alex Smith had good years until they were like, "Oh, we need to start this Mahomes kid."
Yeah.
So, I don't know how to do a hard transition, but we're going to talk about Will Muschamp's defense. And Ian, something you wrote. We talked about this a little bit last week with how does Texas and how does Will Muschamp use Colin Simmons? And there was a perfect positional fit for him at Texas in that buck position or Pete Kwiatkowski. There's still a really good positional fit for him, but the scheme fit is a little different because of what Texas may want to do in coverage. You talked a little bit about that last week and about, Ian, how linebackers are used a lot to generate pressure in these defenses, and sometimes that's at the expense of the edges. So what are some of the things that you're starting to touch on this week as maybe how to solve that?
Maybe. We'll see if Muschamp even cares. So here's the deal. Like, here's the 2 defenses that Muschamp co-coordinated at Georgia before stepping into the analyst tell us how to beat Sarkisian role that he had the last couple of years. He had the first best defense in 2022, the 13th best in 2023. You can see how many points per game they allowed. Team sack rate, that means the rate of opposing plays where Georgia inflicted a sack, 50s in all of FBS football, 56th and 58th and 57th place and most sacks generated. And then you see the leading sack getter on each respective team. In 2022, it was Mikael Williams, who was playing defensive end. And in 2023, it was Jalen Walker, who played situational pass rusher almost. 4.5 sacks for Williams, 5 for Walker. So this is just not a defense that was just like pointing and shooting a guy into the backfield every snap. That's not how they play defense at Georgia. Which
how much of
begs
that
the question, now that you have the ultimate point and shoot pass rusher in Colin Simmons, do you do the Georgia deal where he's asked to hang back and contain and you try to make him more of a complete player?
No.
Well, they might, Justin, they might.
Man.
But if they, so I presented earlier this week in an article on InsideTexas.com, joined for, I don't know, $1 or something. Yep. I presented like, hey, here's how the scheme worked at Georgia and why Colin Simmons would not get as many sacks. And in this article, I talk about if Muschamp were going to tweak things and not be quite as much like Georgia, what could he do so that Simmons can get loose more? And so there's, go ahead.
We got multiple ways to look at it. And, as Texas has done over the past couple of years, they mix in single high and two high defenses, looks from each going either direction. But there's a lot of the two big categories, no matter what coverage you play, are middle of the field closed, which is single high, and then middle of the field open, which is two high. So this one you have, and you what do they call? Then the Seahawks call themselves the dark side defense or something like that.
Yeah.
You said this is akin to what the Seahawks were running with a little bit more. This is single high.
The Seahawks are too high.
Seahawks were too high. Okay. And this example right here is of too high. And this J there on the weak side of the play is Colin Simmons. And this is just a stock defense against a stock, 2x2 spread formation. And you touched on this a little bit last week, but the J in Colin Simmons is dropping here because the three down defense that they like to play at Georgia is you want to deny passes to the perimeter so that they have to run inside on your 3 big defensive linemen and then your 2 stacked linebackers. So the jack and the star have to play contain on the perimeter so that you're forced to just hand off inside. If you rush the jack, then they can send a receiver out, and who covers him? Well, if you're in too high, one of the linebackers has to get out and cover him. But the linebacker's run responsibility is in the interior. So he's put in an impossible situation where he's trying to guard the Y on a little quick out route on an RPO, and at the same time he has to fit the A gap. Yeah, he's going A gap to sideline, which is impossible.
It's impossible. It doesn't matter how fast you are, it's not possible.
Good call.
And so one of the solutions was, even from a too high look, this safety would come down, allow Colin Simmons to rush, but you're still leaving at that point some guys on islands on the outside.
Yeah, you just lose your too high.
Right.
You lose your too high defense. They could just do this a lot next year and then just send Simmons a lot and play a lot of single high. That would not match the Georgia system. So it'd be a give and take. It's like, do we want to match what's worked at Georgia, or do we want to ease into that and still try to do something that features Simmons in his most obvious role?
So one question I do have is, you'll see this J and you see this arrow dropping back. What's the coaching point there? Like, when does he start that drop back? Is he reading the backfield? Is he dropping back right away? Like, is he still maybe putting pressure on the Y if he sees a run? Like, what's his coaching point there?
If it's a run, he's still boxing the play in and containing it. But he's reading it and he's slow playing it.
Okay.
So he could be playing like this and they could run the ball and you're like, he's just playing like a normal defensive end. It doesn't look any different to me. But the trick is that what they'll ask him to do involves a lot of wait and see. And if you're playing wait and see and you're not a direct pass rusher, then you're not going to compile sacks because you're not just trying to race into the backfield.
And you're just not as effective in general because you're waiting and seeing, no matter if you're Colin Simmons or whoever you are.
Well, it works really well for them.
Right.
You're not effective. You're not going to be effective at compiling counting stats for sure.
Right. You're clogging space, which is valuable, but not on the stat sheet, technically.
Yes, exactly.
What about so that was the single high. What about in a 4-down defense where, so explain the 4-down part of it, because even though there is a difference, they look pretty similar.
4-down meaning the 4 guys up front on any pass play are going for the quarterback.
Okay. They're all rushing.
They're all rushing.
So it looks like a 4-3, but it's not.
Or a 4-2, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a true Colin Simmons, he may be standing up, but we're not asking him to hang back and read anything, blah, blah, blah. He's a defensive lineman, basically. He's attacking the backfield. They could play it that way. The trick is how to play 2 high coverage from 4-down defense, which is a lot harder than doing it from 3-down. Because in 3-down, you just clog all the interior gaps with your 3 big linemen. And then it's easier to protect your linebackers and you just play your edges out wide a little more. 4-down, you're losing a guy from coverage because you're playing 4 across the line. And you have 2 actual ends. So how do you fill all the interior gaps with 2 defensive linemen instead of 3? And the way you do it is that you have both defensive tackles 2 gap, and they both just have to be really good at playing a guard and clogging the interior so that the linebackers can hang back and be protected without asking the ends to turn into linebackers. Does that make sense?
I'll get it.
Maybe.
I'll get it in action in just a second. Let's try it up here. All right. So you said Oregon was doing this a little bit against Indiana.
This was Oregon's main approach last year, was to play 4-down and then gap and a half with their defensive tackles. So each defensive.
Let me see if I can. This is corner on the outside, nickel on the wide receiver on the line of scrimmage. That's a tight end. You've got a 5 technique, a 0 technique.
Nope. He's wider than that. It's harder. Both defensive tackles are going to play the guards heads up.
Okay.
They may start with a little bit of a shade, but they're going to slide and end up playing heads up. And they're going to run through the guard and then fit the first gap that they're assigned to the direction of the run, but they're going to wait. And then if the ball doesn't go there and the ball goes back, then they're going to push off the blocker and get into that gap instead. So they are slow playing everything that the offense does to buy the linebackers time to deny any quick passes before the linebackers have to get up there and help stop the run.
So which player is Colin Simmons in this situation? Is he
just one of the ends?
Okay. I was going to say, is this
Sure.
Mateo?
Maybe.
It might be.
Probably. Actually,
I think it is. I forget what number he was.
You don't get to see the ends do anything glorious on this play, but you get to see that they actually get to play downhill like actual ends.
And then
it's the same thing.
This is a little bit clearer because the formation's a little bit more spread out. That actually helps a lot. So yeah, 2 high, corner there. Safety safety in this linebacker watching the tight end. 3-ish over 2 there. And then this is probably Colin Simmons' spot, correct? Over the left tackle.
Yeah. Yeah. Or the one on bottom.
And you can tell he kind of like reads for a second.
Well, yeah.
But that's just
But
not because
that's
he's
the
dropping
quarterback
back.
holding him there.
Yeah, yeah.
That's also just like a reading the block before you attack it kind of deal.
Right, yeah, exactly. So those are the two options available. And it just really
this diagram clears it all up, right?
Yeah, it speaks how important how important two gapping is. And I'm going to block you for a second, Ian. This is why nose tackle and defensive tackle are the most important positions in football. If the anchor nose tackle and the playmaking deep tackle can demand double teams, which great players at these positions do, it leads to great defenses. Hard to disagree. That's why you have nose tackle, like a pass rushing nose tackle, as someone you view as a priority in football these days.
Most important position on defense. I'll give him that.
So these two gapping, explain a little bit what two gapping is and why it's so essential to this defense.
It's technically it's actually gap and a half. So 1.5 gapping. I don't know. But the idea is you play the guard, you push him back, you position yourself to fit a primary gap, and then when the running back makes a decision that's not that gap, then you shed your blocker and go to the next gap over if you go somewhere else. And the idea is that you're occupying the guards so they can't go pick off your linebackers. Maybe the center can try, but you're usually not even that worried about that because centers are, you're not worried about centers. Their angles aren't that good, and they're centers for a reason, right? That's like where the team stuck their walk on or something. And you're trying to clog up the interior and deny easy downhill access so that the linebackers can hang back and guard the pass for a minute before they close and stop the run. So we've seen PK do stuff like this. Like he did this with Sweat and Murphy all the time.
Right, naturally.
Yeah.
They did this when they had guys that could do it.
Now the question is, do they have guys that can do it?
I think so.
I do too. I think they got the bodies.
I don't know if this is their vision though, because I don't know if you grab 360-pound nose tackles out of the transfer portal to do this, or if you do that to stick them on the center in a 3-down.
I bet we see a lot more 3-down this year, just because I think we always talk about how like, oh, do you have a fit for this defense? There are guys that fit multiple defenses, but I think there are more guys that you have guys that fit 3-down, then the guys that fit multiple defenses, and the guys that fit 4-down defenses at Texas in like terms of numbers, in my opinion, this year.
If you do, but I'll tell you who doesn't fit the 3-down is Colin Simmons, and he's your best player. So there is that.
You do mention Lance Jackson. How does he fit into all this?
If they played 4-down like this, then they could play Jackson and Simmons on either side.
Which feels ideal.
For them, it does, right? If you play 3-down, you probably don't want to play Lance Jackson at defensive end. You probably want to play him as a backup to Simmons, or you play him on 3rd down when you're playing a bunch of pass rushers. 1st down in the 3-down defense, Lance Jackson does not have a great fit.
I agree.
You would rather play like maybe Justice Terry.
A bigger guy almost.
But definitely a bigger guy like Murad
January.
Watson, Jaffrard, Canu. January,
Williams,
Sharma, and Charles, yeah. You got all those big bodies that make sense in the 3-down. In the 4-down, you only play 2 of those guys at a time. And if they're not really stout, then it's hard to play them.
I'm really, really curious about how Lance Jackson's deployed, because I think because we know Colin Simmons, no matter what they do, they're going to have him out there every snap, or as many snaps as possible. Like no matter what the decision is, like number one's going to be on the field. I think what we'll learn is if we see more of 40, that could lead him in a certain direction, or if we see more of number 15 and Justice Terry, that could lead him in a certain direction. I think those 2 players, and I guess those 3 players, are going to be kind of indicators of Texas' plan on defense in the coming year. So
Muschamp walked into a very pretty nice cupboard.
When you phrase it like that, who do you think it's more important to create a primary role for, Lance Jackson or Justice Terry?
I think they cancel each other out.
What does that mean? What do you mean?
I think they're the same. I think you
Well,
want the same.
Either way, it's
I don't
good.
think one's over the other.
I think Justice Terry, because depending on what you do for him, he can do the gap and a half stuff, or he can bump out and play some 4-down defensive end.
But if you bump him out, he doesn't play. He doesn't get to the passer like Lance does. If you bump him out, that's where Lance is strong.
Yeah.
That's why I meant by they kind of cancel each other out.
If you play,
I think they're different players.
If you play the 4-down, I don't think Terry is a gap and a half player, and I don't think he will be for a minute.
But you do see that in a 3-down?
In the 3-down, he doesn't have to do that. In the 3-down, he can play the 4-eye.
Okay.
And he's playing the position that like Amenahu or Hager played.
Yeah.
That's perfect for him.
You're right.
Like,
so,
I always, it's one of those things where you always wonder if certain players had different coaches. Like, they made Amenahu do the 4-eye stuff and didn't have the flexibility that maybe Justice Terry might have doing 4-eye and some other things.
I will also always maintain that as much as I know he disliked it, the 4-eye was perfect for Amenahu, and he did great stuff in it.
Listen, Charles is not still playing professional football if he didn't figure that out.
Yeah,
that's the reason he's still in the league and still getting paid,
because he can play inside. Yep.
With that versatility, I'll leave it at that.
That's all of our stories. We all realize we have a niche in this world, and your best bet is to be happy in it.
Maybe we can figure out if Amenahu has some eligibility, and that'll solve the defensive crisis.
Can you imagine the NIL he would demand?
You know who should be on his case to help him get eligibility?
Texans know when you're injured, there's one name that gets results: Andre the Lawyer. Trust the team that has secured millions for their clients and helped thousands of Texans win their injury cases. Car wrecks, slip and falls, 18-wheeler accidents, on-the-job injuries, wrongful deaths. Don't let the insurance companies tell you what your claim is worth. Andre the Lawyer will fight for you. His principal office is in Dallas, but they serve Texans throughout the state. So don't wait. Call 214-444-8808. That's 214-444-8808. Contact info is in the description.
Y'all didn't see that one coming, did you? Although I bet Andre's
great, dude. You know what? That's the first time I'd ever seen Andre's last name.
Yeah, it's starting to pop up.
I thought it was Lawyer for like 2 years.
Oh man, he shows up to some of our events up in DFW. So
he's wonderful.
Last thing to really talk about, because I think this is a little bit more entertaining and relevant than jersey numbers, although I'm always for that. Ari Wasserman, and I'm going to try to get Ari on the channel in a couple days to talk about this list. Ranks the top college football quarterbacks returning for the 2026 season, and I need some water. I think he's nailed it at 1-2. I think he's nailed it at 1. I think he's nailed it at 2. This is a very interesting list, and also at the same time, 2 others are on Texas' schedule. But
this looks like based on NFL and not based on college.
It's based on Ari.
Mensah threw for 4,000 yards at Duke, and now he's going to be throwing it. Mensah is. I don't know how you take a guy that's thrown for 4,000 yards at Duke and is coming back, and you say he's worse than Sayan, who was like the Achilles heel of Ohio State, or Dante Moore, who threw the game away against Indiana. Like, what?
I think Josh Hoover will be higher up on this list by the end of the year.
Yeah, right. Maybe.
So Ari's list is just who are the top 10 best quarterbacks. It doesn't, and it's his own, column. About Arch, he says, and the good thing about Ari and why I want to bring him on is like he's always been a stars matter guy, because I remember Texas fans didn't like Ari because they'd look at like Tom Herman recruiting classes and be like, that's number 10. Well, do you want to compete with number 1? You're not getting there. Well, Texas, as they stacked up better recruiting classes and transfer portal classes, he's like more of a believer just because he's so big on stars matters, which is usually true. Biggest stars, Arch Manning. He says, outside of being the best quarterback in the country, there was no way Manning was going to live up to the insane hype. There's no getting around what his last name means to the game of football, but Manning actually had a very productive season in his first year as a starter. Best part, he played behind a shaky O-line, got booed on his home field, and was constantly referred to as a bust. But what actually happened? He got better as the season went on and had Texas on the brink of a CFP berth. Add in Cam Coleman, an improved offensive line, and some good transfer backs. And the hype train is back again. And I think Ari, Justin, does a really good job of a lot of people dismissed Arch after September and didn't care to change their opinions after the bad UTEP game and the loss at Florida. But he was a winning football player and the best player on Texas team for all of October, November, and then the bowl game.
Joe, I think around November, that's when it turned. It's not now in February. Like it turned back. The sway, the current went back to the other direction. When they saw what he did the last month of the season, it was back. They went back to putting Arch on the pedestal. It didn't take much longer from at least most of the pundits that we come across and deal with on a day-to-day basis. But Ari's, this is a good list. I think there's a few. I mean, that the beauty of it is we could probably argue about a few of these spots. I think Stockton is a great college quarterback, but NFL, no, I don't see it. But for this list, like Ian was talking about, that would probably be a little bit better. I think Ari does a good job with this. But no, I think people around November, December, they were thinking, we sit here and watch Arch, and then they watched him against a good Michigan defense in the bowl game, have his best game as a Longhorn yet. I think you would have a hard time. The only people that are going to say Arch Manning is not the number 1 quarterback is probably Aaron Rodgers' stepbrother from a different mother or different father, or they have the same brother and sister. I'm not sure. But that Rodgers guy, he's probably the only one that still doesn't believe Arch is this elite. Everyone else has figured it out. It's too easy to see. You want a good bet in Vegas? Go put down some cash for Arch going number 1 in 2027. It'll cash out. You're welcome.
All these quarterbacks, or at least most of them, I'm just trying to go off memory here. They all have number 1 wide receivers. Arch has Cam Coleman. Dante Moore is going to have Evan Stewart and DeCorian Moore back.
Evan Stewart is not a number 1 receiver. DeCorian Moore could be.
DeCorian Moore could be. Levitt, who do they have?
LSU.
Somebody.
I mean, they've got some athletes there. I think Tristan Hill flipped to Tennessee. I don't remember who their receivers are. Hoover, we don't know who Indiana's receivers are going to be. No clue. Stockton's losing a couple of the speed guys that he had, but I think they added a few in the portal. Maivia is the one that is losing guys.
That's
Lane
true.
and Lemon are gone, but I'm sure Riley has stockpiled receivers because that's kind of what he does. Miami's another one. I'm unsure with kind of how their pass catchers go because it's more of a run first, run second offense. Sorsby will be throwing it to Micah Hudson. And then CJ Carr's may have a couple guys back there. Is Greathouse? Is he a senior?
Greathouse. They added a couple guys. They added a guy from Ohio State who is highly ranked.
I think a couple.
They had, isn't it Malachi? Who's it?
Malachi Fields is gone. He was last year.
Okay.
They added Mylan Graham and then another Ohio State guy, I think, whose name I don't recall.
I think I do remember who you're talking about. I can't pronounce his name though.
They're I don't know.
Indiana added Shaz Preston, who had a good year at Tulane.
They got Becker
Nick
back
Marsh.
too.
Nick Marsh
Becker
from
was awesome.
Michigan State.
Oh,
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, I forgot about that. Woo.
I
Hoover
think,
will be I'm going to predict it right now. Hoover's going to be number 2 on this list by the end of the season.
I think 1 and 2 are going to stay the same.
He is a gunslinger, brother.
I think 1 and 2 are going to stay the same.
Really?
I
like
think
Hoover. I got a Jim Kelly vibe with Josh Hoover.
I think Levitt's going to drop.
I do too.
I think Sayan is going to continue to
Hold
be the
water.
beneficiary of his wide receivers.
Yep. Jeremiah Smith and Chris Henry Jr., good to see you again.
Hoover will be good, but I don't know
Hoover's
if
better than good, Joe. Watch him throw the ball, dude.
Hoover's going to level up.
Probably the best arm on this list, not Dante Moore.
When he spends an entire offseason with Signetti giving him that praising dad look and making him throw back shoulder fades 1,000 times every day, I think he'll level up.
He'll go in the first round in 2027, gentlemen.
Mendoza and the guy they had the year before was
Curtis Rourke.
Curtis Rourke. He played for
Rourke was really effective at Indiana.
Yeah. And those guys didn't have near the tools that Hoover has.
They know what they're doing in Bloomington.
I'm Stockton. I know he's a gamer. He's a great college quarterback because he's a gamer and he leaves it on the line. But I don't know who he's throwing to next year. And I'm not sure he's that consistent of a passer to begin with. And I'm not certain they shouldn't run the football more.
They didn't have everybody to throw to last year either.
Yeah, it hadn't mattered.
There's a lot of horizontal stuff to Branch, to Bell, and to somebody else.
I think
somebody that looks like McConkey, probably.
They're tight ends.
Yep, they have a McConkey. They have Humphreys.
Humphreys, there you go. They've got that token kid. You know that.
I mean, he might be pretty good.
Yeah.
In my estimation, Dante Moore is overrated as a college passer, and Julian Sayin is overrated, and Carr is a touch overrated as well.
Oh, really?
If you want to bet on the guys that are most likely to hit on this list, it's like Levitt with Kiffin, it's Hoover with Signetti and those guys, it's Maava with Riley, it's Mensah with his Duke guy that came with him, and then he gets to throw to Malachi Toney.
Yeah, and they have their running back as well.
Yeah,
Mark Fletcher came back.
Yeah. They're redoing the O line, but that may not matter.
Oh yeah, they're losing most of that line. But man, Mark Fletcher was probably one of my favorite running backs in college football last year.
In my opinion, the Miami offense the year before was the one that was really scary.
It was. The defense wasn't good enough.
The defense was terrible.
Yep.
Who
Ward was a machine.
Who is not on this list?
Good question, Joe. Good question.
Give me a
second. There are big names that come to mind that some other lists.
Don't say Lagway.
I'm not going to say Lagway.
Okay.
Underwood is a consideration. I would not put him in the top 10.
That's the one that was in Joe's mind.
I would not put him in the top 10, but you would at least think about him, I think.
If the courtroom goes Chandless's way, where is he?
Oh yeah.
Probably 6.
Probably 2.
Yeah, 2.
No. Not without Lane and not without all the guys he had. I'd say 5 or 6.
That's true. He's good though.
No, he is. He reminds me kind of like Stockton. I think he's going to be a really good college quarterback. I just don't know about it in the league.
I know we're missing really falling off.
Mateer is going to be a popular name.
The lefty from Cal.
JKS.
Dude.
I don't know. Jared, I don't know. JKS. I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
I think he could be up there, but not ahead of Damon Williams from Washington.
Oh, good, Joe.
Damon Williams is good.
That's a real good one.
I think
year 3.
Actually, I'd probably find room for him on here over maybe a Stockton or a Sorsby.
Is Bear Bachmeier back?
No. Yes, he was a freshman, but no, he's a fullback playing quarterback. Yeah.
I love those. I love those, Justin.
No, I know.
I'm just trying to think of where
I know there's somebody we're missing.
I mean, we're not missing Sellers, but there are people who would put him on here, oddly enough.
Actually, yeah, you're right.
I would consider him.
I mean,
you don't give him anybody to throw to.
You know who might sneak onto this list at the end of the year? Rocco Becht.
Oh yeah,
I'll give you that.
I think Rocco's really underrated in that he's going to be a good floor setter for that first year at Penn State.
Yeah,
that's a good one actually.
And
Joey Aguilar.
Joey. Well, again,
Does
if
he have?
Chambliss isn't on here, then that
Yeah, it's like
that's
did he get rejected for?
No, he won he got a stay of execution.
He got an injunction essentially.
stay of execution. Good night.
Joey's going to try to get back because they have to have him in Knoxville. Actually, don't they have Faison behind him?
Yeah,
that
but
kid
they
is
don't want to turn it
good
over.
in high school, so I don't know if it'll be too much of a drop.
The one that's actually missing, and that actually probably deserves recognition here, CJ Bailey at NC State. That's
all his receivers got poached. Every new roster I break down on the top 25 has a receiver from NC State that transferred out.
That stinks. He's really good. They kept him, but they didn't give him any tools.
Yeah, maybe they found new guys for him. I don't know. Austin Mack could end up surprising
at Bama.
Yeah.
If he wins the job.
Yeah.
Which I think he will.
Yeah. Everybody gets so excited about the young quarterbacks. That's just not it anymore.
It's the guys that have been playing,
especially not in that
transfer up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially with a guy
there's one.
I'm telling you, there's one on this list there's one missing that we have overlooked terribly.
Who's up at Clemson now?
Nobody who deserves to be on this list.
I was about to say, I think it's Christopher Vizina.
It is. Drew Mestamaker.
Oh yeah.
You know what? In the Big 12, he could throw for the most yards. He probably will throw for the most yards, actually.
I don't know who he's throwing to.
I don't think it matters. He didn't throw to anybody at North Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had this one white guy that was pretty good.
They've got the running
Oklahoma
back
State's got a couple of those. It's the capital of own. They got a couple of those. I'm just telling you, that system, Eric, the way more that's the one. That kid, and I don't know how he projects in the league, but he's just going to throw for 5,000 yards.
If I had to guess, they brought in most of the good players from that North Texas offense.
They brought you remember how Madison transferred to Indiana? Denton, Texas, North UNT transferred to Oklahoma State.
It would be unfair to just actually. I have to look up this guy's name.
That was a movement.
Oh my god! It would be unfair to not even mention Kevin Jennings. I think.
Oh
yeah,
that's it. That's it. Ian did it.
Everybody's like
Kevin Jennings on this list. Period.
Everybody's going to be like he fell apart at Penn State, but he's going to be his second year removed from that and still playing college football.
And he's in a great system. They don't ask him to do more than he does. They surround him with speed and guys. Kevin Jennings is on this list by the end of the year. I'd bet a paycheck on that. That's the one we missed.
You know who he's throwing to? This will be the last thing.
It's not Logan Parr.
It's Longview.
Oh, Jalen Hale.
Yeah.
That's right. Jalen Hale came to the Metroplex.
So
good call.
That'll be a good one.
They got a good thing going at SMU.
They do, man.
They had a good turnaround last year.
And they're hiring young, energetic high school coaches with college experience. I'm telling you, bringing in Riley Dodge, bringing in those guys to help you with to keep those Metroplex kids close, and when they leave, to get them to portal and transfer back in. Lashley is doing the most with what he has.
If a bomb dropped in Austin and y'all didn't hear from me again, and a lot of other people in this city, I'd call Rhett Lashley
to replace you.
No. Well, I mean,
nobody's replacing Joe.
I mean, I think Rhett Lashley would do good things at Texas.
Why did you need to die in a bomb for Texas to hire?
It wasn't him specifically. He meant it like Sark would be in Austin and would be,
he would also be a casualty.
He would be a casualty. You and I, Ian, we would still be running the show.
I don't know.
He's saying he's going with Lashley. I'm probably going with Kenny Dillingham, but he's going with Lashley.
I bet I have a neighbor somewhere in this neighborhood that has a fallout shelter, so I'll be in there.
Just hide under the desk. You'll be
I'm in the right demographic for someone here who's got some kind of bomb shelter, some kind of survivalist thing.
Again, hide under the desk. That's what they're designed for, to prevent nuclear blasts. So that's what they told you in the 50s, right?
Yeah, we're getting a fridge.
Remember in the 80s, we had to line up in the hallway with
Yeah.
our head against the wall and our duct and all that.
The tornado sees your hands over your head, and it's not going to hurt you. So
Yeah.
we'll
Until it crashes your skull.
Oh man, this was a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun over on Inside Texas. So make sure you go to that first link in our description. Sign up for just $1. Get the best Texas football insight. We're talking college football all year round. We'll be talking college basketball, college baseball as well, and of course recruiting. Got the latest visitor list up from Justin. Lots of players are setting their official visits already, setting spring visits. So a lot of great intel over there. Go join for just $1. Can't wait to see everybody over there. So Ian, y'all got a live deep dive today, correct?
Yeah, I'll be back on all too soon at noon. And I got to go look through the questions that people have submitted. The good people of Inside Texas have submitted questions for the show. We'll probably field a couple live as well. So everybody should join us.
Ian, I think a thread at Inside Texas on the members forum right now about Anthony Hill and Kenneth Murray would do numbers. Numbers. So you should create that. Let me get in there. Let's have some fun with it. Let's get crazy on a Thursday.
I love it. Thank y'all for watching. We'll see you next time on IT Live, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors.